Hey guys, welcome to my first ever mod showcase. This is the TARDIS Refined mod. It has been in beta for a little bit, and it finally just released its first official version yesterday. So I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about the TARDIS Refined mod. To start off, the TARDIS Refined mod is it just adds the TARDIS from Doctor Who, and it is a little different from pretty much all of the other mods in Minecraft that include Doctor Who things, because normally you'd either like craft a TARDIS or find a TARDIS, and in this you will be growing a TARDIS with a root plant. And a root plant is this new item that can be found in small pockets underground in the overworld between Y20 and Y negative 50. And these pockets can be found under mountains and the ocean, but they are very rare, so they are very difficult to find, which is why I will not be going and searching for them because that would take me a very long time, and I don't have that time. So what you would do is you would find and break a root plant and you would place it down on a magma block, and then you would just wait for it to grow. Uh, I will be speeding up the time later just because it takes 20 to 25 minutes to fully grow, and that's a lot of time. So while you are waiting for your root plant to grow, you're going to want to craft a few items. The first, which is very important to the TARDIS, is the terraformer. You will need 4 iron ingots, 2 glass panes, a daylight sensor, an emerald block, and a block of redstone. The terraformer is what is used to turn your TARDIS into a TARDIS. When the TARDIS is fully grown, which I will get to in a moment, it's going to be very overgrown, kind of like a jungle sort of pocket dimension. And that is because you've just grown it from a plant. So what you're going to want to do is place 8 blocks of copper on the ground with a redstone in the middle, and you place your terraformer right on top, and it's going to start humming. And so that's when you're going to want to pop out, and it's going to take about a real life minute for it to form. So the next thing you're going to want to craft is the TARDIS key, which just takes 1 iron ingot and 1 tripwire hook. The TARDIS key is used to lock your TARDIS and used to take your TARDIS places you want to go in the overworld with this other item, the launch pad. And I'll go over the crafting in a minute, but the launch pad you will basically place into the ground. Oh, like so. And you would right click with the key that you assigned to your TARDIS, and it will eventually appear there. And we are going to just fix that because melting ice. Oh, I did again. There we go. So, to craft yourself a landing pad, you're going to want to use 3 stone blocks, 2 redstone dust, a target, 2 iron ingots, and an iron trap door. And then these other items you can do later. So I think right now would be a good time to grow the TARDIS. So I'm just gonna up the random tick speed. And what we can see here is all the growing stages. Well, that went really quick actually. This is the TARDIS before it's a TARDIS. I don't know if it has an official name. Um, I guess the base shell. This mod in normal TARDIS mods, you'll probably see uh the TARDIS having 2 parts, the exterior and the interior. And this mod changes that by, so the outside, what you would call the shell, and the inside, I believe, is called the desktop. And before I enter, let me just grab our block that we're gonna need, and let's hop on inside. I don't know if you right click or you walk into it. I normally do both. Oh, I guess it's walk in. All right, and this is what the inside of the TARDIS is gonna look like just starting off. There's just a lot of moss, vines, grass, just very overgrown. So to get it looking like an actual TARDIS from Doctor Who, I'm gonna I forgot to change the tick speed. Oops. Okay, with that out of the way, you're going to place down your 8 blocks of copper, as I had them in the chest, your 1 block of redstone, and your terraformer on top. And you're going to start to hear that humming. Once that starts, you're going to want to exit. And as you can see, the door is gone. Let me just pop those away. And if you try and walk in, you must wait a minute. So while we're waiting for that, we can go over some other recipes, such as the console configurator, which you can actually demonstrate right now. The console configurator is crafted using 6 iron ingots, 1 eye of ender, 1 stone button, and 1 observer. And what it does is it will make you a little mini console. So you can choose from all of the different kinds of consoles, and I will go over the different consoles later in the video. But let's just start with where's it like a default? There's the default. And if you right click it with a block of iron, it'll make a TARDIS console for you. Now you can't use this outside of an actual TARDIS, so it won't work. And to get rid of your TARDIS, you would have one of these down and you would just pop. And so we don't need that anymore. Oh, it's refreezing itself. Nice. The next item would be the pattern manipulator, which is crafted with a red dye, a green dye, a blue dye, 2 redstone dust, a iron ingot, and 1 stick. And you get yourself a little pattern manipulator, which we will also be using later. We don't need this block of iron anymore, but that is used for the consoles, and it looks like the TARDIS is done. The other blocks over here, we're gonna, well, let's get these now. The growth drill, which we use for mining growth, a new block that is added to the game, is crafted with 3 iron pickaxes, a stone block, 2 iron ingots, and a redstone dust. If I go into survival mode, survival, this is going to be the way to mine this new growth block. So you just pop, mines it really quick, and apparently does not take durability. I don't actually know where you'll find growth stone. I believe it's just found in the TARDIS. I could be wrong. It could be somewhere else. I don't see anything on the wiki about it though, so I guess it's not super important at the moment. The mod is brand new, and this is just the first release. There's going to be many more updates. So that is what we have for the growth drill. And next is the flight detector, which is crafted with you basically make a mine cart with 5 iron ingots, and then 2 gold ingots and a daylight sensor. You get yourself the flight detector. And the flight detector is a redstone base block which will output a redstone signal strength equal to progress in flight. So the block will output a maximum of 16 blocks of redstone, so a signal strength of 16. So I haven't actually tested this out because I don't really use redstone that much, but for the redstone people, for we will get to that later. And then this is a TARDIS door. which is crafted the same way you would craft a key, an iron ingot, and a tripwire hook, and then an iron door. The TARDIS door, I almost didn't include it in this, to be honest with you. Um, it's just a door. Doesn't do anything. Just a little fancy door. And then there is some command-only items, which are not in the game yet, but they are still here. So we don't really need to go over those. I just felt the need to include them. If we pop on over to the fully grown TARDIS, you will see that I can see directly into it, even though I can't over here, and it is bigger on the inside, just like the real game. That is because I have the Immersive Portals mod installed, and I will leave that in the description as well. This mod is paired with that for this. You don't have to play with the Immersive Portals mod installed. I do because I like the immersion. Um, but again, not required. It's just a fun little thing that they have paired with. So you can just walk in seamlessly like that. You can walk out. Really fun. So let's close these doors. And we are greeted with the TARDIS console, and this is the default room. We have things such as the door toggle, which will open and close the door. We have the throttle, which you pull to take off, which we will not be doing yet. We've got the direction, which is how you, when you take off, you can choose whether the TARDIS lands facing west, north, east, or south. We have, well, I think that was set to south or something. We have the increment, which is the level which you are using your, where are they in this console? Oh, here they are, your X, Y, and Z. So increment is dependent on how much you are increasing your X, your Y, and your Z when taking off. So you click that, and that changes the coordinate. Left click to go up. It's negative, so it looks like it's going down, but it's going up. And you punch, or left click, no, right click to go up, and then left click or punch to go down instead of shift click, which I believe just does it normally. And I think I skipped over fast return. Yeah, fast return just goes to your last known location without punching in any coordinates. And then I believe that's it, other than the computer bank, which you can choose different desktop configurations, or if you play other mods, interiors, and you can choose different shell configurations, or if you play other mods, those are your exteriors. And we will go over those in a second. Not just yet, because we are going to show off this room back here. It is not complete. It is in the game still, so I will be showing it off, but uh, just know it's not finished. There's a lot of unfinished parts. They will be done in, I believe, the next update. All right. Sorry. We're in. So in here, we have a room which you cannot enter. You have some growth, which you cannot break. And you have another room which you cannot enter, and a staircase. If I go into spectator mode, we can actually show off what is hidden in these rooms. We've got a little, looks like tree growing in this large room. I believe I have no idea what that is. If we go over here, looks like, not sure what this room is either. It's a little fun place. It's got a terraformer inside, so if you can manage to get in, you can't, by the way, because you can't break or place blocks in this area. But if you somehow could, free block. And then this is nothing. And if you go down the stairs, which I'm just going to fly down because it is so much easier, there is nothing. Well, hang on. Uh, what is this? I've never seen this before. Oh, one second. If I... Huh. Whoa! That's a clever way down. And then I'm just gonna fly back up. That was cool. I didn't know that was in the game. It's not from the show. It's just a neat little feature. And so we're gonna go right back through. And if I can go through. There we go. Okay. I think this is an airlock, because the game does add this airlock generator. That's not part of the game yet, though. We're gonna move on. Let me just make sure the Oh, it's night now. Look at that. Um, so I think I found a bug. That's fine. Not not sure how that happened. Is it because of this? Okay, so I'm gonna report that, and we're gonna move on to show flight so that we can fix this bug because it should not be like that. So we're just gonna activate the door toggle. That is not the button I meant to do. We're gonna activate the throttle, and you're gonna hear the TARDIS starting to take off, and you're gonna notice these little particles. What you're gonna want to do with the particles is punch them because the game has a little in-flight mini game. If you punch the little particles until you hear the little ding, you will fly fine. If you don't punch them, though, you do have the ability to crash, which I'm not going to show off just because, well, no, I will show off the crash. I'll just jump cut to it. But this should have fixed. Oh, huh. Okay, looks like we need to up our Y value. Okay, horrible technical difficulties out of the way. Had to make a new world, new everything, but that's okay. We've already covered the back area, so we're gonna go over the key mechanics. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to take the TARDIS key that you've crafted, and you're gonna want to right-click it to your computer bank. Now the computer bank and all of the buttons are gonna be in different places all over the console, depending on the console you have. And we're going to go over all the different consoles just in a moment. We're going to go over this first, though. So find your computer bank and right-click your key with it. It is now bound, and what you're going to want to do, or what you can do with your key, is you can take your landing pad, put that in the ground, you can click it, and your TARDIS will start to dematerialize. And now I like that spot, so once that's gone, I'm just going to put that there so we can get it back. And now the TARDIS has moved without having to go into any of the controls in there. The key is also used to lock the door. So if you just don't want anyone, if you have a multiplayer world, you don't want anyone breaking in, you can lock the door. And watch this, I'm going to teleport inside right now. And we're in. Wow, did you see that? All right. Next thing we're going to go over Uh, it's not going to be the desktops or the shells. We're first going to just quickly go over the consoles. So we have the console configurator and the pattern manipulator. These two items are going to be key for your own customization. If you place the console configurator right next to a already established console, it's not going to have the little hologram because it's going to be connected to the console. And what you can do is you can either click that to change the console, or what we're going to do right now is take our pattern manipulator and click it, change the already established console. So we got the vintage look. It is just a reskin of the base console. It's very nice. It's got a nice red. We've got a nice mint color too. Very pretty. A wooden, which is a callback to the secondary control room in the fourth Doctor's TARDIS. And then we just have the default, which is, of course, from the original show. Now, if we right click it with an empty hand, switch to the 13th Doctor's TARDIS. It's very cool. We've got the computer bank. We've got our controls, the randomizer. We've got just everything we could want. This console has a little hologram of the exterior or the shell, which if you change the shell, you can see it appear on there. We got the throttle, just all the different little buttons. This is personally my least favorite console from the show, not in the game. Everything is wonderfully animated. If you look at these animations, just look at that pump. It's awesome. If we take the pattern manipulator, we have the corrupted version. This, I believe, is from the Masters version of 13's TARDIS. It's very nice, very purple. It's beautiful. Those are the only two. Some have more than one. Some, I think everyone has at least one, but not all of them have a bunch. Right here is the 11th Doctor's console. It's very cool. It's got his typewriter. Uh, every every console, here's a computer bank. It's got just all the buttons. They're just all placed differently. So this, I believe, only has one other version, and that is the Skulk version, which is a reference to the 1.19 Minecraft Wild update. It's got the amethyst and the skulk blocks to look very much like the deep dark. I think this is personally, I wouldn't use it because it is a little more confusing because of the dark colors, but I think it's still very pretty and a great addition. The next would be the 10th Doctor's TARDIS console. Exactly how it is from the show. We've got his little mallet here that he uses to bang on the things, which I believe is where the in-flight minigame came from. It's very nice. It's computer bank right there. It has the war variation, which is from the 50th anniversary special. Looks very nice. And where did I put that? It's got this nice blue version. I don't know if this is just another color or it's from something, but it still looks very nice nonetheless. And then we have the nice green default. The next is the 12th Doctor and the 11th Doctor, Season 7B, is TARDIS Interior. I believe this orange is from the 12th. And then there is a blue variant, which I think is from the 11th. I can't remember which is which. But again, everything is wonderfully animated. It's very nicely textured. All of the buttons work. So if you wanted to check the computer bank, or if you wanted to, I'm not going to pull the throttle. We know what happened last time, but the buttons. The only thing I find a little upsetting is that both monitors don't work. And here we have a violet version, which I asked about this one, and I think he said it was a custom one, and it looks very much like Missy's TARDIS interior. Now we don't see her TARDIS in the show, but there was concept art of it. This looks very much like it, and there's a TARDIS desktop that is also reminiscent of it. It is a very nice color. I think this is personally my second favorite console out of all of them. And then we also have the blue version, which I believe was Matt Smith's, and then we have the default. Next is this one is from the Eighth Doctor's TV movie. It's very, I like it. I think it's very nice. The red's nice. We have a nice green version, a Grant version. I don't know if these are references to anything, uh, unfortunately, but those are the different colors. This is the Mystic console, which is specifically paired with an shell, the Mystic shell, which is my personal favorite shell, and we can go over that once I get to the shells. But again, has all the buttons, computer bank built in. It looks very pretty, and it has this molten version, which is very cool. I like this a lot. Next version is this is the Nuka uh, console. It is a reference to the Fallout games, I think. uh, yeah, it's definitely a reference to the Fallout games because we have the industrial look right here. Very cool. This cool look, also very cool. And the default. Now, the Nuka also has its own shell and interior, so we're going to go over those as well. This is this one's a Portal reference. You know, the game Portal? We got like one of these little heads from Portal 2. We've got this and the 13th Doctors are the only ones with this little hologram. This is my favorite console. I just really like Portal. So this is really nice. We've got the Aperture, which is yellow, and then we have the blue, which is very nice. And we have Construction, which is a very cool color take. And we're back to default. Yeah, back to default. And that was all of the TARDIS consoles. So next we're going to go over to the computer bank and let's check out the shells because the shells take the least amount of time. We have the default police box, and some of these will have different skins, which I believe you can also use the pattern manipulator on the shells from the outside, but you don't have to if you're just using the inside. We've got marble, gaudy, very pretty, metal, stone, a red version, and the default. If you were to save it, it would change the door and open the door, and we can step out. It changes it instantly from the outside. I did mess up and make the TARDIS sideways when I moved it, so that's why it looks like that. Still very nice. Let me close the door. What is the next one? The phone booth. We've got the red, and we have metal. Not all of them have variants. Not all of them have multiple. Some have just maybe one. Factory doesn't have any. But let's go with the phone booth. Step outside. Get a 360. It looks very nice, very clean. Here's my favorite, the Mystic. We have the default and the Dwarven version, which is more of a clockwork look, I believe. Now, this is my favorite. Just look at the doors. Look at this. It's animated texture. It's a beautiful design. And I do use it when I play by myself. We have the Drifter look, which is like I don't know. It's like a tent. It's very cool. Very lovely. The next one would be the vending machine. The vending machine and this other the Big Ben have this issue where uh it's like an invisible half slab is there, so you have to shift to get in and out. It is a little inconvenient. This is the first update, so not going to hold it on them too much. We've got lovely design here. We have the different TARDISes on the inside of the vending machine, which is a really nice detail. Open it up, and we've got a shift to get in so we don't break our game. We have the briefcase. Now, the briefcase has Intel, Metal, Mesa, which I think is a reference to Half-Life. I'm not 100% sure. Never played Half-Life. But this and the growth are the only two, excluding, of course, the original TARDIS, where immersive portals just doesn't work with it. So if you were to right click here, it'll open, but you won't be able to see outside. And this is not a real ladder. You just step forward and you're out. Not sure how immersive portals would work with it, honestly, but this is the inside. Very cute design. Not sure how to. There we go. Close it, and you just step onto it. You get a loading screen. If you don't have immersive portals, that's how they all work. If you do, there's only two exceptions. It's fine. This is the groaning. I'm not entirely sure what this is a reference to. Um, I googled the name and it came up with the guy who made The Simpsons, so this might be a reference to that or like Futurama. Um, Not 100% sure though. I forgot to ask before making this video, but that is fine. You will know if you know. The next is the Nuka exterior, which goes along with the Fallout, I believe. I've never played Fallout, so again, I'm not 100%, but this goes with the desktop and the console, so it has a full set, which is a very nice touch. I like the animation that it has going on. I think it's very nice. I'm assuming it's a Fallout reference, you know? The next would be Growth, which is modeled after the base TARDIS uh, before you make it into a TARDIS. This also does not work with immersive portals, but I believe that is intentional. So this is how it looks all around. Can't really tell where the door is, unless you specifically know. That's how it looks. Uh, I'm actually a really big fan of the design. I just wish it worked with immersive portals because I really like immersive portals. We have the Portaloo, or the outhouse, which is a fun little exterior. Just a blue porta potty. And then last but not least, we have the pagoda, which I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I do know that these are a one of the staple exteriors in the Dalek mod update, which adds a lot more. But this mod is solely focused on the TARDIS, and I believe this is a better TARDIS mod than the Dalek mod's new update. So those are just my thoughts. Let me switch to my favorite, the Mystic, and then we will go over the different desktop configurations. The first one is the Violet Eye, which is the Violet Eye and Future Nostalgia are not from the TV show. They are just personal creations from the makers of the mod. Violet Eye does remind me a lot of Missy's. You can hear that sound because the TARDIS is regrowing itself. So you're going to want to step out, and then you're not going to be allowed inside for a whole minute. So I will cut back when the minute is over. All right, and now let's open it up. And you can see very different from the inside. I love this one. This is definitely my favorite interior that is in the game so far. Excuse me, my favorite desktop that is in the game so far. There are campfires under here to have this nice smoky effect. We've got the 12th Doctor's console. Here we have just the back area. Each TARDIS has one. They are all exactly the same. We've got these lovely corridors. Just the colors in this one are so good. And there are about, I think, 4 little rooms. They don't have anything in them, but they're cool. So this is I believe it is called the Violet Eye interior. Very nice. And, yeah, very, very beautiful. This paired with actually, I'll pair it right now, just to show you. This paired with the Violet console is very, very lovely. I think it all works very nice together. But when you do switch your interior or your desktop, your console does not transfer with it. So next we're going to go to the Copper or the 11th Doctors. So I will cut to when that is done. And it's done. This is the Copper interior or the 11th Doctor's desktop. It is very large. This might be one of the largest in the mod. It has several little corridors. It has little staircases, which go just all around. It is very nice interior. Now, I'm just gonna switch to the police box because I'm reviewing a Doctor Who mod. Why not stay in the theme? Next, we're gonna go over the Toyota or the 12th Doctor's interior, so I will cut back to you in one moment. Here is the Toyota desktop. It is almost exactly like it is in the show, aside from the fact that it is all made in vanilla Minecraft. Well, it's a mod, but it's used vanilla blocks, so it's as much customization as you can get. It looks very lovely. We have this little corridor back here, entrance to the back area, and we have these barrels which are empty. I've checked before. Very nice interior. The next desktop would be the Victorian or the Eighth Doctors from the Eighth Doctors movie. So we will see that now. And here we are in the Eighth Doctor's TARDIS. Not really sure how to transition these, so I hope it's okay. This is my first mod showcase. We have a lot of cool things on the inside. We've got this chair. Here is the console. We've got some bookshelves. It's very nice. I would use this one if I think the Violet Eyes one wasn't in the game. It's really cool. It has all these like galaxies or planets or stars or whatever they are up in the top. Very pretty design. This honestly, I think, is my favorite from all of Doctor Who. It's just a really nice interior. It's really sad they only had it for the movie. Where's the computer? There it is. All right, the next is the Nuka, which is what I'm assuming a Fallout reference. So here we go. Here is the Nuka desktop, fit with the Nuka console, and not the Nuka shell, because that's a lot of work just to show that off. This is a relatively small console, but it is still very nice. I really like the use of the mangrove wood. It is my favorite wood in the game, so it's really pretty. And if we go down here, we have the back area. Very pretty console. Or not console, very pretty desktop. The next desktop on the list would not be the factory, since that is the default, but the future nostalgia. Now, this is not a reference to anything, it is just from the makers of the mod. And I totally forgot to initiate a transition there, but here it is inside the nostalgia interior. It's very pretty. It's relatively small, but that doesn't stop it from being pretty. We've got the 11th Doctor's console. I don't want to step in there. But yeah, we've got some roots over top and underneath. Just really pretty overall. The next desktop would be the Crystal or the 13th Doctors. So let's get on into that. Okay, and here is the 13th's interior or desktop. In my opinion, it's not super great. Here's where the back entrance is. Again, it's not super great just in the show. In this mod, though, I think they did a really good job at recreating it. I really like the colors that they use. I also really like the way this is set up. It's really pretty. Not my favorite in the show, though. Not bad in the mod. We've got 13's console, 13's bank, and over here, we got these two little pockets, which aren't super important, so don't know why I felt the need to show those off. But we're about to move on to the final TARDIS, which is called the Coral, or 9 and 10's shared TARDIS. So we will go on to that. And here we are, about to enter the final desktop, or TARDIS interior. I'm starting outside because it's the last one. Want the full effect of walking into the TARDIS for the first time. And there it is. That was really lame. But here is the 10th and 9th Doctors TARDIS interior. This, I believe, would hold the most nostalgia for people because this is the most nostalgic era. It's a really pretty interior, though. I personally wouldn't use it just because it's so small and there's not a lot, but it's still very nice. I really love the animations on the console. So pretty. And I know there are some other things I have to cover, and I cannot remember them, so I will flip back when I can. And I remember completely now, I was going to showcase what it is like to crash your TARDIS. Crashing the TARDIS is not something you want to do. It is not fun to do. But just for the purpose of the video, we will show that. So if you want to skip this, it's going to be a longer section. Just because you have to actually wait for it to crash. Let us just randomize the controls. Well, let's pop the increment up so they're sort of random. And where's the throttle on this thing? I've never used this console. There it is. So normally, what you would do is you would punch these, and the TARDIS would be working fine. But sometimes you get busy, and you're not able to. And once you're not able to, the TARDIS crashes. So we just sit back and wait. Or I just cut to when it is next relevant. You will see or hear the TARDIS crashing. So I'll cut back to when something starts happening. Whoa. Okay, something started happening. The TARDIS started shaking, and there's a little beeping noise now. So, here we go. We got rumbling. You definitely don't want this to happen in your game. And from this point, you are still able to recover the TARDIS. We're not going to, of course, but it's still possible until it is fully crashed. Oh, we've got a bell playing now. This really is not good. And of course, the TARDIS crashing means a couple things. One, you won't be able to fly the TARDIS for 10 minutes. And two, if you try to touch the controls, I believe they will burn you because the TARDIS is going through a lot of stress right now. See, we've got darkness, we're crashing, everything is just going wrong. If this happens to you, you're a bad person. This should never happen. And I hate you and you're the worst. No, see, now the TARDIS is smoking, which you should never do. You gave our TARDIS lung cancer. Thanks a lot. I didn't do this. This is your fault. No, so it appears we've moved, and we are experiencing the same glitch where we were on ice, and now we are under the ice. And let's. How did this happen? We are able to move, so I'm just gonna move the TARDIS, and I'll cut back when it's done. Okay, the TARDIS is moved. Try to go inside. None of the controls. Nothing's gonna work. So you're either gonna have to wait 10 minutes, or if you're playing in creative like I am right now, you can just get an ice block and cool the TARDIS down, and the buttons should. Let me just find a safe button to press because of issues. Yeah, it should work. All the buttons are functional again, and we are good to go. Speaking of good to go, let us pop over to an alternate dimension just to show those off in case anyone was curious. I know I would have been. And we'll actually fly the TARDIS like intended. So, X, let's see. The bigger the console, the harder it is to find out where these little bubbles are coming from. Because you're kind of required to go all around. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but you are going to want to punch them. I don't know if right-clicking them does the same thing, but punching them is more effective, in my humble opinion. Sometimes they'll ding, sometimes they won't. It is kind of random. Flying the TARDIS is pretty tricky when you're alone, just because they can go from one side to the other, and it can get very tedious. So if you want to bring a friend along, it's always encouraged. The TARDIS was never meant to fly alone. That's a Doctor Who canon. I believe they were supposed to have one person at each corner, and I have got myself distracted. This is a difficult job. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate. So, commentary is a little rough. There we go. And I don't know if it'll park itself on its own, but you can park it after that. I love the animations they do. Look at that. Just pull up the throttle gun once you hear that level up sound. And if you step out here. Oh, are we in the air? We are. Uh, this is it's a really interesting world. Okay. So the alternates look to have different functions. I think I've been to alternate 5 before, and it was just a bunch of different shapes of terrain. It was really messy. This just looks to be the overworld view is floating islands, which is really cool. I'm not going to go to all the different alternates just because that's a lot of work, and I want to give you something to do when you play. So more incentive. But that has been the TARDIS Refined mod. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you will download. I'm going to leave links to everything in the description, including this mod download on Modrinth, the Immersive Portals mod, and the wiki for this mod. It's not like an actual Wikipedia, it's a GitHub page, but it still has all the information you're going to need. It is currently for versions 1.19.2 on Forge and Fabric. I'm playing on Fabric, but so there might be different bugs. There will be some bugs just because it's brand new, bound to happen. It's still very fun. You should definitely give it a try. I'm trying not to punch so I don't break anything in here. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Support the mod. I'm gonna also leave the Discord in the I'm going to leave the Discord in the description as well for the mod because it is a good place to have questions answered and to just find a new community. Yeah, thank you for watching. Please download and support the creator. Very fun if you like Doctor Who. All right. I don't know how to do an outro. Ah, what's that? All right, bye.